The Season of the Wish launched yesterday, and as always, the early reports and opinions, they're all over the spectrum, from "Holy cow, Mommy Marasov is speaking to me and nothing else in the world matters, I'm in the happiest of places," to the other end of the spectrum with people saying, "Hey, yet another season following the formulaic template. I'm just tired of grinding for seasonal weapons that I'm never going to use again after this season." Now, I'm not sure where you fall on that spectrum yourself. Heck, I'm not even sure where I fall yet, but I did spend several hours yesterday playing lots and lots of PvP, and I want to be clear here, I know I'm holding PvP to a bit of a high standard, but let's be honest, I mean, this season is about to be extremely long. If Bungie wants to start earning back players to their admittedly struggling population in PvP, then they need to make a great first impression. And I never cheer for anything to fail, so I want that for them too. But that being said, I already have some concerns that I wanted to list out in hopes that we can maybe have some community discourse and see if any of you out there are feeling the same way I'm feeling. I don't think these concerns that I'm going to be listing today are really all that massive in terms of like actually fixing them and addressing them. The PvP Strike team could probably hit all of these rapidly if they felt so inclined, but I'm also not going to just assume that everyone out there feels the same way I do, so let's see where you all fall on these items. Please feel free in the comment section to speak directly to any of these things that I list. Okay, first, let's start with the item number 1. My worry about the new playlist structure came to pass literally immediately after it went live. If you watched my previous videos, I mentioned that I'm worried there will be weeks when there's nothing in PvP that I actually want to play. This week, there isn't a single place on the directory where you can go and just play the core Destiny modes. There's no standard control, no standard clash. The main node this week is 6v6 checkmate control, and if you just want to play regular PvP modifiers, you're out of luck. So if you've got a new ability-centric build that you want to test out with all the new stasis and solar artifact mods, there's really not a good place to do that this week. I mean, you've got checkmate, which abilities are suppressed in. You've got Rift, which is dreadfully barren. I mean, my queue times were taking forever, and almost every game was a mercy. Then you've got Relic, which is a crazy party mode, and I didn't dislike it, but I'm certainly not going to play more than a couple of matches there personally. And then you've got, like, Elimination 3v3. There's just no standard PvP anywhere. Now, I personally am in the camp that says we probably need to have the standard core PvP experience somewhere on the directory every week. I know that there's a large portion of the player base that sees checkmate as the deliverance of PvP, the future of the Crucible, and apparently Bungie thinks similarly, as they've talked about pulling checkmate elements into the permanent core PvP experiences. But I feel like a weirdo, because I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't love checkmate. I mean, I like it, but I absolutely do not want it to become the standard. Many checkmate matches for me end up being all hand cannons and passive team play. Lots of running around the corner into mobs of baddies all huddled safely together. In addition, I really like ability builds that marry gunplay and ability usage in seamless harmony where they each feed off of each other. That's super fun for me. That's one of the base elements of Destiny that made me love the game, right? The chaotic space magic mixed in with exceptional gunplay. If you lean too far into just gunplay, it just feels like another COD or Battlefield or whatever. And checkmate moves that needle too far towards D2 launch sandbox for me, like personally. Like I said, I like it, but I don't really love it. And I really don't want it to be the standard. And I'm a little worried that that's where we're headed. And no, I don't think ability spam is the only alternative to this. It's like one of the things that people said to me a lot yesterday when I kind of said that I was talking about this on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, you don't like checkmate? Well, you're just going to have to live with ability spam then. I hate ability spam. It's like, listen, I don't think that it's just one or the other. I don't live in a world where only two opposite extremes exist. I think there's a whole lot of ground to cover in between those two extremes. Bungie has had seasons where both have been in check, and I don't think a world where checkmate isn't the standard means that ability spam will be king automatically. So that's worry number 1. There will be weeks where the core Destiny PvP experience will not be present, and that's just kind of weird to me. Item number 2. The main playlist node, the most commonly played one, the standard 6v6 unranked. is for some weird reason not counted as a ritual activity. It doesn't count towards seasonal challenge progression, and it doesn't count towards getting your PvP engrams each week. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's on purpose, but that's like not right, right? I'm already worried about not getting to play the core modes, and this will further push people away from the one playlist where those core modes will exist. It's just going to push people into those, weird party modes and further divide up what player pool is left. I mean, this has to be a bug, right? Like, there's no way that's intentional. Hopefully that will be fixed, before the next weekly reset. Either way, it's certainly making my experience so far even more lackluster, and that's something I don't think Bungie can afford to do right now, right? Make bad first impressions when they need to convince players to keep playing. Item number 3, PvP very, very quickly descended into oops, all thorns. Thorn is going to be very hot this season, so get used to having a sickly green outline around your screen, because I was consistently in lobbies with about 3 thorns on the enemy team. I think this thing is going to be pretty standard, pretty meta for a little while at least, so I would buckle up, Buttercup, and maybe dig up a Plague Doctor mask, because we're about to be injected with so much thorn poison that our bodies are going to form some sort of sick dependence on the stuff at this rate. Everyone is going to get the catalyst to drop and then start playing with it. It's going to be a whole thing. Now, I think Thorn is cool, and I'm certainly not ready to say that it's busted or it's OP or it needs nerfed or anything like that after one day. Let me be clear, but I do predict it's going to be heavily present in the days and weeks to come. And that is item number 3. And finally, item number 4. Why the heck is the Fireteam Finder node so huge? It's not even working right now, and it covers an entire third of your screen and deprioritizes information that I actually want to see. Like, my friends list gets compressed and spread out over more pages. I want to check the lobby that I'm in a PvP match and see how many players are in it and how many pre-made teams there are. Well, now I have to scroll to literally a second page just to see the other half of the lobby. It's getting split up because the Fireteam Finder node that isn't functional is somehow deemed more important. Can we please, for the love of God, shrink this thing down and put it in the corner somewhere so the important and relevant information that I actually want to see is front and center? I don't know if I'm being petty, but was anyone else genuinely annoyed and disoriented by this? Like, I can't be the only one. But if that's going to be a permanent thing, then I'm going to be irrationally annoyed this entire season over it. I guarantee it. I hope it gets shrunk down and finds a new home in the meantime. Alrighty, those are my 4 concerns that I wanted to bring up today. All of these things piled together gave me a not so great first impression of this season's PvP, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm also sure that these things can be easily addressed if I'm not alone and the community at large feels the same way that I do about them. So please sound off in the comments section and let me know how you're feeling about all 4 of these things. Also, quick side note, a bunch of you a couple weeks ago went and checked out my whiskey channel, and that was like super cool because the influx of subs gave that channel a lot of love in the YouTube algorithm and like catapulted it up in growth for a couple of weeks, and it was helping, many of my videos over there that usually get, a few hundred views. Instead, they were getting a few thousand views. So it helped also earn me some new Patreon supporters and even opened up some new doors in the whiskey industry. So a big heartfelt thank you to those of you that moseyed on over there. If you haven't done that yet and you'd like to check it out, I'll leave a link to that channel in the description and pinned comment. You can even support it directly by joining the Patreon group for literally just $1 too. Thanks again everybody for stopping by the channel today. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I do hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.